Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Hannah. So I'm trying something new. I'm videoing on my phone and set it in my room on my computer. Let's see if this works. Alright, so this video is about the time I went to the beach with a friend. I'm not going to say his real name because I don't know if he watches this and I just don't want to give it out. So let's call him Matt. So me and Matt have been, we were talking for like about 3 days. Yeah, and then we decided to meet up at the beach. He asked me like what do you look like? So he asked me that, and then I asked him what do you look like? 'Cause I didn't want to send a picture first. So he sent one, and then I sent one, and then so we went to the beach. I got there at like 11 because I just wanted some time to tan and just, be there by myself because I didn't want to tan while he was there because I'm not that kind of person. I actually didn't wear one of my bikinis that was like a V-neck. I wore one that like covered everything. Anyways, around probably I think 1 o'clock he came down. So I had to go meet him, and I'm like, what are you wearing? Just so I know. He was wearing white shorts and a red t-shirt, hat. He didn't say he was wearing a hat or glasses. But when I saw him, I actually walked up to him and noticed he was wearing sunglasses and a hat. And also wearing a backpack. That's not creepy at all. I met up with him. I was expecting a hug. No, I didn't hug him. I was expecting it because he's always like asking me like, oh, I want to give you a hug, let's cuddle, and I'm like, okay. So we went back to where my tower was, and we just started talking. And I told him before that I was Mexican and French. And I told him that a lot of people say, oh, you're not Mexican. Just by like looking at me, they're like, you're so not Mexican. So I'm like, okay, whatever. He told me that he would never do that to me. Oh. He asked me, I don't want to sound racist, but does your mom make salsa? I'm like, yeah. Does she like make tacos and burritos all the time? No. Do you have a quinceañera? Quinceañera? No. So I just kind of let that go. I'm like, okay, whatever. While we kept talking, I was getting this like weird vibe from him, like a kind of creepy vibe. There was these like people in front of us that were Asian, and they were singing to their daughter, and I'm like, oh, it's so cute. I was just like, it was just so cute that they were singing to her. Then I hear him laughing. Like, what are you laughing at? They're singing to their daughter. Like, do you hear them singing? Oh my gosh. I was so like, I'm like, that's actually pretty cute. It's not something to laugh at. We kept talking, and he was being so racist. Like, he didn't even know he was, and he didn't even know he was being rude. Like, this summer, I actually got like a tan, well, not a good tan, like I don't know, I'm just not as white as before. But when we met, I was, a little bit paler than this. And so he would compare himself to me, like his skin tone. He would be like, I'm whiter than you, what the heck? Okay, yeah, whatever. Then like 5 minutes later, he puts his arm next to mine, and I'm like, looking over. Dude, I'm tanner than you. In my head, I'm like, no, you're not, but I told him, okay, I know I'm white, doesn't matter. So we had like that talk and like back and forth of like, well, he wanted to have that talk of who's whiter and who's tanner, and I'm like, whatever, I don't really care. So that conversation ended, but it came up again later on saying the same thing, and I'm like, you know what, I really don't care. I am white, so what? Doesn't matter. No. He talked about like how his friends kind of ditched him, and so I kind of talked about my friends, and then somehow my ex-boyfriend came up, and I talked about him a bit of like why like we kind of broke up and what's been going on. And my ex-boyfriend was black, so Matt said all my friends that are girls are going out with guys that are black. Like us white guys are like missing out. Like all the white girls out there taken by all the black guys. And I'm like, okay, I think white girls should go with like white guys and black people should go with black people. At that point, I'm like, what? Where did this come from? I told him, you know, if you have feelings for like a black person, you're white, then there's nothing wrong with that. Like, seriously. It's whoever you're happy with. And he's like, well, I think that they should, like, you know, white people with white people and black people with black people. Okay, whatever. So the day went on, and I wasn't even hanging out with him for more than an hour. Like, less than an hour. So my friend, she actually, she's really sweet. She's the one that kind of sort of introduced us to each other. But she's really nice, she's really sweet, I love her so much. He brought up her and her boyfriend and said something like, her boyfriend looks like somebody that like just robbed a store. Like somebody that's bad. Stop. I told him to stop. Oh. I'm like, you know what? Don't say anything bad about Melina. Like, I thought you guys were like chill. We didn't get a lot of talking into that. Then he kind of like tried, like, after that, he kept putting his elbow by mine, kind of like nudging it, or I don't know, just trying to touch me with his elbow. And I kept bringing my arm in until he was kind of like this. And I'm like, really? Like, you don't need to touch my elbow. So I have my arms in like this, lying on the ground, and kind of getting like, oh, okay, what are you trying to do here? Because he's talked about like, oh, I really want to cuddle you. And so, oh, he actually brought up cuddling. He's like, I can't believe you haven't cuddled before. And I'm like, well, I've only had one boyfriend, and I don't know. Almost everyone's cuddled before. I can't believe you haven't cuddled. And I'm like, okay. So, but no, he did not ask me to cuddle there, like, in person. He texted me that he wanted to. When he texted me that he wanted to kiss me, actually, no, he wanted me to kiss him, because he's so chicken and didn't want, to kiss me, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm just kind of meeting you for the first time. Baby steps. He tried talking about his friends again and how he bought his friend a present for her birthday, but they just recently like totally split up, like, I'm not your friend anymore. And so he's like, I have these t-shirt and jewelry that I got for my friend, and I have no one to give it to. Why don't you just give it to like a cousin? I don't have any cousins that live by me. Okay, then just give it to another girl, like, of your friend. I don't have any friends. Okay? He's like, I need to give it to someone that's tall but not short. I'm catching on, like, he was trying to get me to say, oh, why not just give it to me? No, I'm not like that. I don't like ask like, oh, okay, can I have it? No, I don't do that. I think that's kind of rude to do it, or I don't know the word for it, but I don't do it. He tried getting me to, like, say like, oh, give it to me, and I was kind of like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe keep it for when you get like a girlfriend and you, I don't know, give it to her. I don't care. He's like, I don't know. I was like, okay. He looked at my bracelet, and for those who don't know, I wear a orange bracelet for leukemia. My grandma had it. A year ago she passed away, but I wear it and I never take it off. But anyways, he asked about it, and I told him about it, but he kind of cut me off. I don't remember what he said, but I remember him laughing. And I remember just like getting that feeling like, oh no, you didn't. Like, I was so sad and mad. I was getting so emotional, and I never get emotional. After he spoke about my grandma, or he laughed about something about my grandma, and that's where I like kind of shut down, and I was mad and sad, and I was emotional, but I didn't cry. I texted my friend, well, I'm not going to say his name, but I texted my friend, and I was telling him, oh my God, help me, help me. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. So I told him about it. I told him what like he was saying, how he's making me so insecure. Oh, and also, aren't runners supposed to like have abs? Like, don't you do cross country and track? And I'm like, yeah.
Like, okay, first, I don't have like a 6-pack or a 4-pack, but I do have something there that's like a beginner's pack for your information. Okay, if I flex, you can actually see it. Yeah, so I do have a somewhat abs, but not like a 6-pack or a 4-pack. Okay.
Anyways, so he was like making me feel so insecure about myself and making me feel bad. He was being so rude to me, so racist. So I told him all that. He's like, make an excuse to go. And I'm like, I did, but I told him I had to leave at 2. And it was like 1:40 right now. And he's like, okay, I'll call you. So I told him, okay. So he called me, he's like, hey. And like, he's acting like my dad. He's like, just pretend I'm your dad, telling you to go home. He called me, talked to me, and then I told him bye. And I looked to Matt, and he's like, I'm surprised you didn't talk in Spanish. Again, I am not fluent in Spanish. Like, I was so done. So I told him I had to go. I had this dinner, and I actually did have a dinner that was like at like 4 or something, but I didn't tell him that part. But I did have a dinner, and so I told him I had to go. So we picked up our stuff and we headed up the ramp and got to the top. I thought he was gonna walk me to my car. I started walking that way, and I looked and I didn't see him walking with me, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, goodbye. And I quickly heard my car, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I just wanted to get in my car and out of there as fast as I can. So I got my car and I texted my friend like, hey, I'm in the car, he's not following me. Then I get a text from him, he's like, I had a great time, did you? And he put a winky face. And if you haven't seen my last video, I think I said, like, I show you, like, I tell you, I hate the winky faces. I hate the smiley faces that aren't emoji. And it freaks me out. It just creeps me out. But, I got a text from him. And then I didn't reply, and he's like, did I do anything wrong? And in my head, I'm like, oh, you don't even know. I just want to punch you.
In my head, I'm like, oh, you don't even know. I just want to punch you.
He didn't know, and I told him no, everything was fine, and that's when I turned off my phone and I drove home. And then the next day, I'm like, he doesn't know. He doesn't even know. So I texted him, you know what? No, I did not have a great time. You were so rude, so racist. And I told him everything that he did that was hurtful and just plain out wrong. And he didn't even know. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah. Then he said, like, I understand if you want to be alone right now, I'm just gonna go and cry. And I'm like, okay, you don't tell somebody that you're gonna go and cry, okay? You just keep that to yourself. But that's like pretty much what happened. It was really weird and crazy. And I came home and I told my parents, yeah. And I told my brother and he was so pissed. But yeah, that's like just kind of how it went. I did leave out like some parts that I didn't 100% remember. And I didn't want to make anything up. And this is a 100% true story. So I hope you guys like this. Just a really quick, kind of short story, long story short. Give a big like, subscribe, find out when my next surprise video is. I love you guys. See you in my next video.